Hello everyone. I'm Dr. Red, your science evangelist. I want to make people feel the joy of science.
And I'm Mike, his friend.
Today we're going to talk about quite familiar subject. We're going to talk about numbers.
You can accomplish anything. Huh.
What's going on, Mike?
Oh, my God. You scared me. What are you doing coming to school?
I felt like Mike was depressed.
I know, I didn't do so well on my math test today. Why is it that I can't be good at math, when Dr. Red is always teaching me science? I mean, I don't even know what math is, right? I don't even understand why I have to study logarithms and imaginary numbers.
Logarithms and imaginary numbers are actually really interesting. I mean, if you start talking about it, there's no point in even learning decimals, is that okay?
No. Decimals are used quite a bit. You use them to measure your body temperature, right? But logarithms and imaginary numbers are not necessary.
But for humans, decimals and logarithms are equally necessary.
That's a lie. How can you say such a thing?
That's because humans invented decimals and logarithms at about the same time. Throughout history, humans have invented various numbers out of necessity. That's how mankind has made dramatic progress in science and technology. Therefore, decimals and logarithms, which were invented at the same time, can be said to be equally necessary.
Alright. By the way, are you getting any money from the great logarithm guys?
Who's the great logarithm guys? Well, let's take a look at the history of numbers today, shall we? After listening to today's talk, I'm sure you'll love numbers.
Okay. It's going to be another long day.
Hey! I'll start with a quote from the German mathematician Leopold Kronecker. Natural numbers were created by God, everything else is the work of men.
Oh, I don't know what it is, but it's cool.
Isn't it cool? In other words, normal numbers that are greater than 1, such as 1 and 2, exist normally in nature. Like 1 apple, or 2 cows. But it's a little strange to have -1 apple or 0.2 cows, isn't it? So, all numbers other than natural numbers were invented by humans.
I see what you mean.
Then, what do you think was invented after natural numbers?
Let's see. If I think about it normally, negative numbers?
Too bad. The next one is fractions.
Is that?
This is Egypt. Ancient civilization is Egypt, right? It's said that fractions were born here. By the way, I just changed the background, so it shouldn't be too hot.
That's true.
Fractions are necessary for sharing food and other things. However, the first fractions were quite limited and only had a numerator of 1. Fractions were already written in Egyptian books in the 17th century BC.
Oh, something came up.
I'll display this so you can understand the history of the numbers better. And now, more than 1,000 years have passed since then.
Oh, already?
Yes. After fractions, humans have been living on natural numbers and fractions for over 1,000 years.
It's mind-boggling.
Now that it's come to this, don't you want to have the next number?
I know it's frustrating, but I can't wait to get decimals and stuff. Is this what it means to fall in love with numbers?
Ha ha ha. The plan is working. But I can't give you the decimal point yet.
I can't wait.
Next is the 5th century BC, the time of Pythagoras. Have you ever heard of the Pythagorean theorem?
What was it? The triangle thing?
Yes, that's right. It's a theorem about the side lengths of right triangles. But because of the discovery of this theorem, a number was invented.
What does that mean?
If the lengths of the sides of a right-angled isosceles triangle, here and here, are 1, what is the length of the diagonal side?
It's a root 2, right?
That's right. In other words, it's an irrational number.
What's an irrational number?
An irrational number is a number that cannot be expressed as a fraction.
Isn't that a decimal?
It's true that root 2 is sometimes written as about 1.41 in decimal form, but it's not an exact representation because it has an infinite number of decimal places. Also, it's not a number that was designed to represent a tenth of a number, so decimals were not discovered here.
But then, Pythagoras is a great guy who discovered a rational number.
I don't know if it was strictly Pythagoras who discovered it, but it seems to be true that the Pythagorean order he organized discovered it.
What do you mean?
The Pythagorean order was very secretive, and they strictly forbade leaking any inside information to the outside world. That's why Pythagoras and his organization are shrouded in great mystery. Pythagoras and many of his disciples were working day and night on mathematics at the organization. One day, one of his disciples, Hippasus, discovered that the number that squares to 2 is an irrational number.
Hippasus is amazing.
In the Pythagorean order, they were trying to find a way to express the number that squares to 2 using natural numbers and fractions. Of course, Pythagoras thought so, or rather, he thought he had to. But Hippasus denied that fractions can't be used to express things.
Wow, so he challenged his boss. He was a hero.
Pythagoras was looking for beauty in mathematics. And he just couldn't admit that numbers could not be represented by natural numbers and fractions. His state of mind was such that he could be called a madman. He kept denying irrational numbers. But Hippasus would not back down. At last, the Pythagorean order sank his disciple Hippasus in the Ionian Sea.
I can't believe they killed Hippasus in a fight over math. This is heavy.
Weight has nothing to do with it. People today are easily taught and easily understand things like the Pythagorean theorem and root 2, but there was such drama behind the scenes. Well, we don't know if this history is true or not, because of the secrecy. Some say that Hippasus was killed not because he discovered it, but because he tried to publicize it.
Either way, it's heavy. When I learned the Pythagorean theorem, I didn't know that there was such a drama hidden in it, so I just listened to it with a huh.
Math is also about studying the accumulation of thousands of years of human drama.
Surely we can be a little more appreciative.
Well, that's a bit of a long story. Next time, a few hundred years will pass again.
It's really a grand story.
Next, there are many theories.
What? Wait a minute, where are you?
I'm here.
No, I don't want that. Come here.
You're a boring guy. When I came up with this, I thought it was really funny. Next, there are many theories, but it is said that in the 1st or 2nd century BC in China, a book called 9 Chapters of Arithmetic was written, in which negative numbers first appeared.
What? It's not here yet? I'm surprised.
Yes. Nowadays, we all use it as a matter of course, but it's quite a difficult concept. Of course, there was subtraction, but it was only to consider the difference between a natural number and a natural number, and the answer should not be negative.
I don't think we use negative numbers much in our daily lives.
Well, we do use it for things like temperature. There is a joke that goes like this: a physicist, a biologist, and a mathematician are observing people entering and leaving a building on the other side of the street. First, they see 2 people entering the building. And after a while they notice 3 people coming out of the building. The physicist said, "Hey, did I miss something?" The biologist said, No, they've bred inside." To which the mathematician muttered, "If one more person enters the building, there will be no one left inside." Do you think mathematicians are talking nonsense? But this is the very concept of the negative. In other words, the number of people in the building now is -1.
You're right, it's very strange. It's so strange that I couldn't find Tab or Pepsi free in the fast food restaurants.
There's a lot of movie stuff today, but you're right. Negative numbers are a very uncomfortable concept when observing the natural world. It's understandable why it was discovered so late, right? But being able to understand such abstract concepts, not only what we can see with our eyes, is the reason why human beings have been able to succeed on Earth.
Doc, I think I'm starting to like the numbers a little bit.
Oh, yeah, right? But the fun is just beginning, you know? After all, 0 hasn't been invented yet.
Are you sure? How is it possible that there are natural numbers and negative numbers, but no zero?
It is true that if you draw a number line, zero seems to exist as a matter of course. But humanity doesn't know zero yet.
Now I'm curious. Hurry up and tell me.
No, it's time to school. Let's do it tomorrow. By the way, the clock is exactly 25 minutes low.
Wait a minute, Doc, are you telling me that it's 8:25?
Precisely.
Damn, I'm late for school.
In this channel, we will continue to post videos on topics that make science accessible and fun.
If you find today's video interesting or informative, please click the good button and subscribe.
Also, please feel free to comment or question.
See you in about 30 years. Bye.